Okay, I'm working on the Harald Kautz series, and I just did an experiment in the last video. Not an experiment, I'm just showing you guys the nanometallus is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you the electrometallus and the nanometallus, and call Harald out on some of the shit he's been saying. So you'll see what I mean about the brownness now. I just didn't see how it's starting to gather at the bottom now. Originally, I put this on the stove and I heated it up too much and it shot the top. But what I thought was pretty cool about that was that most of the metallus came out more than the coconut oil. Look, all that brownness, that powdery looking brownness, that's how tiny they are. And I was hoping this would cool down enough for you to see what I'm talking about, and you can now. See the brownness at the bottom? See them? I don't want to shake them around too much because I'm trying to let them settle. Maybe by the time I get done with this video, you'll be able to see them a little better. It looks like a brown powder floating inside. This is coconut oil that I capture them in. The reason we use the coconut oil because it blows up the nanometallus so you can at least see it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show it to you. And that's what that brownness is down there floating around. And you could see, and just coincidentally, it worked out kind of nice in a way because this happened when it came over the top. So those little black spots, what I was saying in the last videos, this was a clean tray. This tray wasn't dirty before this happened. So those ones are the BIOS. They're big enough where you're seeing them with your eyes like that under normal camera condition. But if we hook up a microscope on here, then just a cheap little shitty microscope, nothing fancy, you can see all this with your own eyes. And then when you go in on those brown areas, that look like powdery brown areas, each one of those tiny little fucking flecks you would not even normally be able to see. The coconut oil is what's blowing them up for you to see. And I think it's pretty cool that the colors are coming out too, because I was just explaining in the last video, or a couple of videos before, that the colors, the metallus colors, not the fiber colors. What Harald is talking about here are the fiber colors. Fuck the fibers. The fibers are only the three different metallus, three different strains of the nanometallus, and they're throwing out different colored webs because of what it is they eat on. I'm still more interested in explaining to everyone that it's every sickness. It's everything. So Harold's here explaining to you that this is not a big deal. Only to 1% of the population. That is not true. And he's also just mentioning, and you, Harold, I'll talk directly to you because I don't want to talk behind your back. But you're on here telling everybody such false information, and you're showing everybody. I mean, I'm glad you brought out the microscope and stuff like that, but it's really not showing anybody anything honest. And then, you're talking in this one here about males and females on a nano scale, and there are no nanos that have, that are both male and female. Not yet. I mean, unless you're looking at bios, bios and hybrids, they get very small as well too, but they're not electro size or nano size. Electros are the smallest you're going to be able to see with your eye or even under a microscope. And then if you blow them up with coconut oil, you'll see them much better. But electros don't have mouths, legs, eyes, asses, penises, vaginas. They don't have all that stuff. There's no male and female of any of those. Even in the electros, I don't know of any males and females. Now I'm thinking about it. Think about that for a minute. Anyways, let's listen to Harald some more, and this will be my last video for the night anyways.
Male and female, and these sexual organs are spider-like. I think it's called bulbous, the kind of a bag containing the sperm of the spider. This is what you find within these mushrooms, but it doesn't look like mushroom from
that brown powderiness at the bottom. There's a lot more in there than it looks like. I'm sure I lost a lot into the tray, too, obviously. That was quite a bit of it that came into the tray. That's what that is as well. There's black ones and brown ones in there. It mostly looks brown.
In the cell structure, it looks like the step to the next generation is not fungus anymore. It's going in steps to a real spider generation. The second thing these spiders do when the fruiting bodies are extracted through the lower intestines, some of the patients have the feeling of having energy extracted from the forehead, pulsed streams of energy flowing into the lower intestines, and it.
Okay, so what you just said there, Harold, that's exactly what these ones, that's why I'm showing you these two. These are the respiratory metallus. All these are respiratory. That's where I pulled these out of. These are out of eyes, ears, noses, lungs. Just like the last experiment I did 2 videos ago, when I spit this shit in the bowl and pour the alcohol in there, okay? And you can watch them work. It's that simple. It's that easy. This is shit that anybody can fucking do. Anyone can see this for themselves. Unfortunately, they educated everybody, what they call education, and everybody thinks that science is something that's based on reality. It's not. Science is based on our imaginations, because that seems to be majority of what's used. You want to talk percentages? You were saying 100% of the people are not affected by the by this metallus. It's just not true. 100% of people are affected by it. Same way that 100% of the people are affected by the education system. We think that the education somehow is based on any fucking
Feels
reality.
like whatever is born down there is stealing light, is stealing energy from the human system to accumulate as much as possible.
Yes, that is exactly right, but it's not like you're saying. You're making it sound like some mysterious fucking mystical thing that the energy's coming from down in your head and it's stealing your. They're nanomites. Think about the word electromagnetic nanomite. They're electromagnetic. There are the ones that are working on, let's say, that are okay. Arthritis is another metallus. Arthritis is another metallus that's working in one of the largest electrical systems of your body, which is your neurological system. And these certain nanometallus work in the neurological system. Then there's other metallus that live in the bloodstream. There's not that many in the bloodstream that I can find. I think there's probably about 6 of them. And I'm identifying them. And you can do the same thing. You can poke yourself, drop some fucking blood in there, mix the coconut oil in there with the blood, and watch them rise up. Okay, they'll blow up. Anybody can do this. Anyone can do that. Why is the medical industry not doing this for many years now already? Because there's so many drugs on the market for curing all the sicknesses and ailments and all this shit. There's doctors and nurses on every fucking corner. There's a pharmacy on every corner. That's why. They don't want to know. They don't want to answer these questions. The medical industry cannot come anywhere near this shit, and neither can you, because you got that fucking sciencey degree behind you. You're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna be able to actually face this reality that I'm trying to show you. I hope you do, but I doubt it. I think you're just gonna write it off like everyone else does. Say, what a fucking idiot. Even though you can see it for yourself, even though you'll be able to prove everything I'm saying for yourselves, you'll still walk away. You know, protecting yourself. It's the same thing the medical industry does with all of the metallus. You go to them with one issue after another, and they give you the medicines and the cures for it. All they're doing is feeding the metallus, so the metallus are not eating on you. When you're talking about this energy going through the body and going down to the thing, That's exactly right. They're all electric. They're electrical creatures. Yes, they're living in our biosystem, but many of them are working mainly off of our electrical system. The ones that I'm talking about in the nerves that cause nerve damage. You got the ones that are Mercer. You got gout. And people will feel like something's eating at their feet, right? And they'll be complaining about diabetic foot, like I mentioned in the last video. All these different fucking things. You're going to go to the doctor's, he's going to hand you a medication, and he's going to charge you a fee, and that's the whole point of the fake ass fucking system. Lying motherfuckers all the way to the fucking bank. And there's no care about honesty and truth, and no matter how bad it hurts, and no, people will not want to face it. All the places that I collected these Metellus off of human bodies, they would not give them up. They know who I am. They know what I'm looking for, and they would not give them up. I had to do some really weird shit and sneaky shit in order to get these Metellus and collect them from other people. I didn't want to just base everything off of my own body. I wanted to see, wait a minute, am I seeing the acne on this person? And am I right about this Metellus causing that acne? I don't want to just be guessing at it. I want to know. But then when you ask them, can I have samples or whatever? Get the fuck out of here. If I have friends and family members who have gout and who have athlete's foot and who have funguses or anything like that, and I'll ask them for samples and tell them what I'm thinking it is. They don't know fucking way, man. They're zombies. They're zombie slaves. They're not no, doctor said I got eczema. Don't worry about it. Doctor said I got eczema. So I have to be sneaky about this shit. I have to extract these Metellus on all different levels, a lot of different ways. Sure, it's easy to go out to the garden and collect them off the tomato plants, the pot plants, inside the tomato plants, inside the pot plants. That's all easy. No one's going to argue and fight with me about it. I can go inside the walls. I can go inside the pipes. I can go inside the dryer, all these other places I can collect them from around in our environment. But I can get them even from the cats real easy. I got 2 jugs over there full of cat Metellus that are from my felines. And there's about 75 different Metellus just on the animals alone that I can easily extract. From the cats, you can get them. I can get them a lot of gross ways. The litter box and whatever. For the. I won't get into it. Anyways, let's listen to more Harald for a minute.
And this all mounts up from my background. I've been dealing with physics a lot, and I'm familiar with higher dimensional physics.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the theory of multi-Pitcairn and multi-layered space-time sheets. And for me, it's quite easy to think in higher dimensional rooms. Who is not into physics might go into the spiritual realm when we say that mankind is about to ascend into higher realms, and we have this Vedic concept of 7 hells and 7 heavens. This is all identical with the multi-layered space-time sheets of multi.
Okay, all of which you have no evidence for, all of which are just in your imagination, all of which is the imagination that you were programmed with since childhood. So, no, it's all not anything like you're claiming that it is. I'm hoping that you're open-minded enough to look at things for what they really are. More I listen to you, it's been a couple years since I listened to your videos. I know that the last time I listened to you was probably about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, before just, now in the last couple of weeks. But before I stopped because of some of the things that you were saying, I was like, no, that's wrong direction. No. Even though you believed in outer space, even though you believed in the space alien nonsense, which I didn't even believe 2 years ago, but you did, and I still was interested in some of the things you were talking about. When you started tapping into the Morgellons, it was about the time that I found the Metellus and the EMNC. Then when I started listening to it, I'm like, nah, so I'm hoping that this is all unintentional. I'm hoping it's just your programming and your schooling and your education that's making all this shit come out of your mouth. But everything that you're saying is wrong. This is false. This is not what's happening. And you can prove it for yourself. You don't need me to prove it. I'm just showing you how to prove it to yourself. So when I'm telling you about the coconut oils and how to collect the nanos and the metallus and everything like that and how to look for them without the legs, you don't need no more imagination. All this other space shit that you're talking about and the other dimensions and everything, you can see this whole system with your own eyes. The EMNC that I'm showing you in the rocks, I'm going to be showing you in the ice, the snow, the grass. I'm going to show it to you everywhere, even in human skin. In the Morgellons that you're talking about, I'm going to show you the imagery. I'm going to challenge you to show me anything other than the faces of feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Anywhere you want to fucking aim that camera, it ain't going to happen unless it's human influence and you just draw me a picture of a peacock, or if you go out and snap a picture of a peacock. I don't have the answer for that part yet. Why is it only feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast? Why are those energies special in this system? Eventually I'll find that answer. I'm certainly not going to find it in talking about outer space fucking nonsense. I mean, this is so ridiculous, man. This is really ridiculous shit.
So for
Outer
me,
space.
it is quite easy to imagine higher dimensional biology.
Yeah, you imagine it. You imagine
and what
it.
I observe out of this point of view when I look at Morgellon disease, it looks like a higher dimensional being abusing humans to reproduce his own species.
No.
And before these pseudomorphic fruiting bodies leave the body, they extract enough biophotons from the forehead to ascend to a parallel dimension. And
okay, so to get rid of all that ridiculous shit and put it this way. There are groups of humans, obviously, that know everything that I'm explaining to you in my videos. They're not sharing it with you. They're not going to share it in your school. They're not going to bring you to college and fucking tell you what I'm telling you. You have to see this for yourself. And you have to get rid of everything you've ever been fucking taught, obviously. Because this is all wrong what you're saying. Okay, if you control the light spectrum, then you're controlling the fucking metallus. If you control the magnetic current, the electromagnetic current, which they can by changing the elements in our atmosphere. If you can change that, then you can totally fucking control everything. So how do you control the human body in doing this too? The metallus is already here. The metallus has been here for the same 6,000 years that this program has been running. Those metallus have been here from the nanos to the bios. They've always been here. So why is it only in the last 25, 30 years that the metallus have gotten this strong? Because we've changed these other things. Someone out there knows the secrets. Someone's changed it from going from running on, let's say, there's one in Austria. Right now, there's a railway in Austria. If they haven't changed over yet, they were running at 6 to 8 hertz, I believe it was, when me and Rick did this series. And Rick told me about it. He was going to go check it out. Okay? So that's the only place that I can find anywhere. I was looking all over the place. Is there any in China? Is there any? Unless you're going to go up on top of a fucking mountain where there's no trees, there's no grass, all stone rocks, good magnetic pull, good connection of energy with the system, then you might be able to pull in the proper hertz that we're supposed to be living at. Otherwise, anywhere you're around telephone poles, power, electricity, it's all 60 hertz. We're not running at the proper frequencies. That's not a space alien issue. That's a fucking bunch of humans. Someone out there knows the system. Someone out there knows what it is I'm trying to fucking explain to you. I don't know who it is. They don't, if they are, they're not coming forward. But obviously in their actions to teach and educate our people, and especially, it's science. Science is supposed to, be factual. It's not factual at all. It's all imagination, and everybody wants to use their imagination. So we went from biblical times, bunch of bullshit stories that none of it can be proven. What I'm showing you and telling you that you can see for yourself, hear for yourself, smell for yourself, feel for yourself is all there for you to see, smell, feel, and hear and for yourself. So why bother using your imagination anymore? Stop with the imagination. Challenge your imagination. When I'm showing you all these things for the images, use your imagination and try to show me the peacock in the clouds. Show me the birds. Show me the anything other than the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Try to find me the body imagery. Show me the trees. Show me the other things in the no. Even in a fucking tree, there's no images of trees. It's amazing to me when I found all this. And I'm like, this is really weird. And then when you went to the water, when I went to the ocean, I expected to see images of, fish, lobsters. There's a lot of fucking ocean creatures out there. Show them to me in the waves. Show them to me in the ocean, anywhere. Show them to me in the ocean floor. Bring me into the reefs, which I can do easily. We can go on any fucking television shows and movies of deep sea divers and go in on the reefs. I like doing it. Unfortunately, everybody else finds it very boring. Show me the other images. Show me your fucking space aliens. And if you're showing me pictures of creatures that are already here on Earth and calling them space aliens, I mean, Harold, man.
From then on, they're invisible, but they're still within the body. And this now is pure.
Invisible to the human eye, yes, because the human eye has been trained not to look at anything concerning truth or reality. The human eye has been programmed and trained not to look. We have lost contrast in our eyes over the years. The system itself has lost contrast because they're changing up the atmosphere and the light. That's, again, due to something, probably the only little bit of reality I've ever heard you say, which is the geoengineering. Geoengineering is being done, I call mineral streets. They lay out these mineral streets because they're controlling the weather that way. They're adding they're not dropping the Metellus all over us. The Metellus is already here. It's all already here. It's changing the light spectrum so that the Metellus thrives, and the Metellus could take us out, because especially if there's people going around saying that they're only affecting 1% of the population. I mean, why would you convince people of that? It's not true. They concern 100% of the population, and they're consuming 100% of the population. The Corona-19, right? That's the same shit. It's another pneumonia. Metellus are responsible for all pneumonias, all flus, all respiratory issues, everything from asthma to, everything. Everything. And they'll give you steroids because the steroids will feed them and they'll back off. They won't aggravate you and upset you so much, right? That's what the steroids are doing. Steroids are not killing the Metellus. Steroids and the other ingredients that they put into these inhalers and other shit for people with asthma, they're not killing the Metellus. That's to keep the Metellus. Those are there to keep the Metellus in the body so that you have to be on that inhaler and buy that fucking inhaler for your children every week for the rest of your life and their lives and all that shit. It's to keep things in motion in this fake ass, fucked up, scientific, medical industry, lying ass fucking system. That's what's going on there. Science. Whatever the fuck I was talking about, I don't even remember now.
This is what can be explained with higher dimensional
oh my God.
Theories, but it also refers to mythology. If you have an invisible creature crawling through your body, trying to access your energetic system, this is very close to what one might call a demon or an archon.
Holy fuck,
and if you look
man.
at the description,
I'm glad I'm doing this series to you. I'm glad I'm doing this.
500 years ago. The description of the biology is identical with what the Morgellon victim was painting. They're described as spiders with human faces. And there are exactly two different species that are close relatives but different. And it is described that they live as light parasites, and this is basically what the entire black magic tradition is about. Being a black magician means to communicate with those archons and offering them access to your physical light system, feeding them with biophotons, feeding them with life force, and in exchange they offer power.
Okay, and those are only some of the Metellus. Those are the ones that are running up through your body in the electrical areas. So they may be running in your blood and running inside the ions that are inside the electrons that are inside the oxygen that's inside the blood, like I was mentioning the other day. Okay, that's going to be one type. Then there's another type of bio nanometallus that wants the bio end of your blood. It's not even interested in the electrical part. It's interested in more in the bio end of it. So there are many, many different ones. The ones you're talking about now, you're making it sound like there's only one of them. There are thousands and thousands of these things. All right, there are tens of thousands on the bio scale. So if there are tens of thousands on the bio scale, I only got fucking 30 years left. I don't have time to go out and show you every one of the nanos that exist. And just another thing to let you know, they start from nano and then come to the bio size. The nanos were here first. Let's put it that way. The nanos were here first. This is not guesswork for me. You can go and prove this to yourself. You can look back in history and see that even the plague, when the plague was fucking put up, and again, everything was a lie. So the plague wasn't even the way that it was put in our history books. Let's put it that way. It was not even that way. But at that time, the same way they were already controlling the weather way back thousands of years ago, they were already controlling the weather. Someone at some point knew, hey, gee, whenever that fucking volcano goes up, all the minerals that are coming out of that volcano, they cause it to rain. Did you ever notice that? It always gets cloudy for the next couple weeks, and then we get rain and everything like that. They noticed that putting certain minerals up into the atmosphere would cause fucking rain, and maybe other ones caused lightning, and other ones caused other weather situations. Other ones maybe 2 miles down the road would cause hurricanes and tornadoes and all these different things. They noticed that putting things up into the atmosphere would change. It doesn't change the electromagnetic current. What it does is change the effect of whatever electromagnetic current is naturally happening. Let's put it that way.
Power over other human beings. This is what black magic rituals are always about. So we're starting to get a picture here. And if you look at the political entities who might be responsible to introduce Morgellons into the air, look into the United States. We have the Bush family in power. Even if it's not called Bush, there's Bush inside. And they're all members of Skull and Bones. Sounds pretty black magic.
Big fucking deal. Who cares? Again, more psyop nonsense. Yes, they're all fucking scum, but there are 7.8 billion zombie slaves. They have all imprisoned themselves. We've imprisoned ourselves by choice, because I've been showing this shit to people for 2 years, and 7,000 people, and that just sounds like not very many compared to the millions and millions of views you've got on your videos. But I've had 6,000 or so people come to my channel. Look at what it is I'm showing them. Never mind what I'm telling them. Never mind my trash mouth. Never mind any fucking thing I'm saying. Just what I'm showing you alone. Nobody looks. Nobody takes a couple minutes to fucking look and say, that's amazing, and then go do it for themselves? Fuck no. They turn their head, they run. I've tested my family, friends, everyone I know, people on the street by the thousands. So you're talking a total of at least 10 to 15,000 people who've all seen and maybe even possibly heard a little bit about what I'm trying to explain to you. And they've all turned and run from it. All right? It's that fucking simple. It's everybody. There's no Bush family's responsible. The governments are responsible. No fucking way. Yes, they're all doing stupid shit, but so are you. So are you right now, fucking talking all this nonsense. And you got thousands of people who are believing what you're saying. You're causing another program. You're going along with programs that you've been programmed with, and then people listen to you and count on what you're saying. And instead of going and looking for yourselves, people, instead of going and looking at fucking reality for yourself, instead you take the word of somebody because he uses the word science all the time. Science this and science that and space alien this and fucking science this and education and science. And you're all fucking impressed, and that's what you're going to listen to, rather than just go look for yourself. Typical 7.8 billion fucking zombies.
You look how these people are interconnected. The next topic is going to be black goo.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
already
one
I started your
black
video
goo
out the black
deposit
goo.
in Paraguay, and there's one village next to this black goo deposit, and the Bush family has a big villa escape territories. When they are chucked out of the United States, they're going
Before
to
your
be
series is
down there.
up, I'm gonna get heavy into the black goo. I am so aggravated and fucking pissed off just listening to your shit on this one. To be honest with you, Harold, I'm just looking forward to getting back to somebody somewhat fucking, you know, Abraham's videos and stuff like that. He may not be as conspiracy minded as you, and maybe that's why it's not as aggravating. But this is tough for me to listen to all this shit. It's great that I get to put out the responses to it and stuff, but most likely I'm gonna get copyright strikes on it all anyway, so I probably won't even be able to use it. I'll have to redo the video, which will also be aggravating. So I'll have to take your face out of it here and there where your face got put in, and I might even have to change the voice and put a screen on the microphone, so I mean on the speaker, so that your voice don't sound the same. You know, we gotta play all these fucking games just to get the message out there that everyone's full of shit. And again, everything that I'm telling you, you can prove for yourself.
There, living in this little village in Paraguay, and a friend of mine went down there to get samples of this black goo from Paraguay, and he realized that Angela Merkel had her villa next door.
Wow.
Yeah? And this black
that's
goo
scary.
has to do something with the communication with demons.
Yeah.
This is in the black magic tradition.
Wow.
These black goo.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's, hey, you look over here. See this? See this? Look over here. Look over here. Look at, see my thing? Don't look here. Don't look here. Look here. That's what you're doing right now. And that's what the Bush family black magic bullshit's all about. It's about fucking distractions. Everybody's got to be distracted, and there's got to be trillions of distractions, not just a couple hundred like I thought for 10 years. No, trillions of distractions has to be, because if there's not, then everybody would just see what's right in front of their fucking face. Everybody would see all around them and see what's right. You see the builders. You can see them building. I watch them every day, all the time now. There's nothing scary about it. There's nothing fucking freaky about it. Maybe when I first found it, it was a little weird and whatever. And then also that no one else is willing to look and admit it. That's also a little fucky, but whatever. What's this thing at for minutes? You gotta aim over here. What's the fucking map for minutes? Okay, 30 minutes. All right, let's listen on a little more.
Fists were used to communicate with demons. So this all interconnects on political, scientific, and the level of mythology. We can access black goo also from the little pictures from the microscope. This is German rain. And if you want to know what this liquid does, you can have a look at it in the lab. When you have bigger amounts of it, it looks like this.
Full of imagery.
It's a liquid crystal. This liquid is self-organizing physically. And this, at the moment, is sleeping.
Another time, I don't have time today, I'm going to tell you what your black goo really is. And it's not what you think it is. So I really want to fucking get into this now. During in other past resets, you know, probably not in the last 24,000 to 30 something thousand years. It was probably a long reset ago. We used to use the technology that I'm trying to show you now, the electromagnetic nanocarbon system that we live in. We were much more electrical before. We were very highly electrical. We ourselves, just like I'm telling you about the Metellus, we did not possess mouths, ears, eyes. I don't know about asses. I didn't get that far into it. And I don't know about sex organs either. We had very long limbs. the same limbs now, 2 arms and 2 legs, and they were very long. I don't know why. I've not figured that out yet. But this, what you're showing us here, what you're showing us with the liquid crystals, there was lots of ways of doing this with the liquid crystals, and there's evidence for it. There's evidence for it all over this earth. If you go to certain places, I won't just say only Peru, because it's not just only in Peru, it seems to be everywhere. You would see liquefied stone, right? That was stone that was liquefied at one time. Another way you could think of it too would be, okay, let's use some stones that we know that were precisionally cut, 50 tons to 350 ton stones, right? Just modest ones, not the real big ones, because the real big ones that are the 700-800 tons and stuff like that, you know, we have no fucking clue, right? Nobody has any idea. How did they cut them? How did they? Oh, they had tools, right? They were fucking cutting them with other rocks, and yeah, get the fuck out of here. All this technology that we have today, just to let you know, Harold, if you're probably not going to go to any of my old videos. I've talked about this before. I've explained it before. Today's technology sucks big dick. This sucks. Everything. The lasers, the fucking riding around on wheels. The circle was the biggest fucking drawback of humankind, was the circle, the wheel. Circles are shit. They should have never. That's totally human concept, the wheel, because the real fucking deal is the electromagnetic nanocarbon system that we live in. The electromagnetic nanocarbon system, we never needed the wheel. We could move around on this system. What you're called gravity is not really gravity. It's electromagnetic push and pull, because all gravity is only an effect of electromagnetic current. I'll show you someday with a compass. I'll try to get that in on your series as well, but I mean, I fucking can't do it all. I'll just point that little hint out. Okay, look at a compass. A compass will point down and to the north. You're thinking that you're on a ball. I'd have to get you on the moon map model and move the compass around in the circle, aiming at the north all the time for you to understand what I'm saying. It's a connection. It's a complete connection with the stars, the sun, the moon, and the earth, and below the earth as well, but I don't have any evidence for that. I'm just picturing it. As a matter of fact, the whole deal, and I don't like bringing this out, but the whole deal kind of looks more like this. Now, we would see this as a circle, right? Just like we see this as a circle. That would be a circle to us. Still got coconut all over me. This is more what it looks like, and this is what the periodic table is going to look like, and this is what the standard model is now going to look like. I'm working on them. Maybe someday, maybe in the next 10 years. I don't know. I'm by myself. I don't have any help on any of this, but they have to be redone because we're missing so many fucking elements that are up there that we can't get to, that over there that we can't get to, and down below that we can't get to. No one allows us to go there. We're just dumb fucking slaves, and we're never allowed to. But they're all triangles. It's spiky, it's pointy, and let's say using the mineral of gold. What am I at for minutes? All right, a couple minutes. Let's say using the mineral of gold as the example I like to use. You'll find gold in its solid mass state here, but you'll also find gold in another solid, pure state, I should say, here. And you'll find it here, and you'll find it here, and you'll find it in there, and you'll find this gold, this thing we call gold, this mineral, at every state in here. You'll find it in the liquids, you'll find it in the fucking atmosphere, you'll find it everywhere you go. And when is that mineral there at its purest state? All the time. Everywhere, all the time. That's the other magic about this electrical system, this electromagnetic system, is that, let's say our energy, the energy that's in your soul, right? The energy that makes up your soul. I'll still go along with some of this wording because I don't have any other wording to explain it to you so you'd understand. But let's say your energy that's in your soul, when that bioshell dies, the power goes back to the system, right? And then when the stars are lined up and that energy is ready to come back to the biosystem, then it'll come back to the biosystem. That's the way the fucking thing works. But now when it's in your body, when that soul, that energy that you possess is in your body, it's one with the rest of the system. That part you might be able to understand. It's one with the rest of the system. So in other words, we don't need to pick up a cell phone to call each other. You already have a connection with me if we knew how to use this system properly, like we did in past, 24,000, 60,000 years ago, when you think maybe dinosaurs were roaming the fucking earth because you believe in that nonsense too. There's never been any dinosaurs, just to let you know that one too. That's a whole nother fucking story. But there's no evidence for it anywhere when I'm looking at past programs, because I've found past programs, leftover remnants of them. And when you look at the past programs, there's no fucking dinosaurs in there, so it's really ridiculous. That's my evidence. There's a lot of other evidence too. The best evidence that there was no dinosaurs is there's no evidence that there was ever dinosaurs. It was just all fucking made up. There's no evidence anywhere that there's dinosaurs. You got fake fucking bones. You got fake fucking finds. You got fossils that they claim were fucking dinosaurs. They could have been numerous other things that were in other programs and whatever, but. Okay, let's see. What else was I going to say about? Okay, so okay, back to your black goo here. Okay, back in the day, we knew how to solidify stone. All stones. There was certain ones that were better for it, obviously, because we ended up using that. That was how we could take a whole fucking mountain at that time if it was made out of a certain heavy metal, and we could go right up to it because we didn't need tools like lasers and saws and chisels and all that. We didn't need all that. We were the tools when this time was there, and there's evidence for what I'm saying. It's still on the earth today. So if you want to know how those ancient ruins really got built, right? The system built them. The human, as our energy at that time, as builders ourselves, because that's what we are the builders. When our bio shell dies, we go right back to this system and we start building immediately. We're all slaves in here, by the way. We're all slaves in this system. I hope, and maybe it's just one of my own programs, I hope there's a God working with the purities outside that veil. I believe that there is. It seems that there's some evidence for me for that. So I still think that, but as far as inside this realm, under this veil with us, is what you would call Satan or the devil, or other religious people might refer to it as that. What am I at for minutes? 42 minutes. I only got 2 more minutes. This is going to end. Let me try to make this point. Anyways, that's it. I fucking had enough. I aggravated myself enough for today. So I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow with, I got to get back to Abraham's videos next for a couple days.